Hey everyone, this is Renee Frey from TalentQ, and you're listening to the Conscious Professional Podcast. More people than ever want to be happy in their career and personal life, but they're going about it all wrong. I'm here to set their record straight and emphasize the importance of prioritizing your mindset. I'm thrilled you're here. The cost of a bad hire can be a significant blow to an organization. Wasted time on onboarding and training, but more importantly, a bad hire can often infiltrate and influence other employees around them and start to break down and damage a company's culture. One bad egg can spoil the whole group, and companies never want this. This is why most companies are very thorough on their hiring practices to prevent this from happening and make more successful hires. Today, I'll address common misconceptions around hiring the right person for the job. And as I go along, I'm going to share tips for both hiring leaders and job seekers. Now, over the 23 years I've been in the recruiting industry, I've seen common misconceptions hiring leaders have about finding the right person for their job opening. I'll never forget when I was at a meeting with the hiring leader at Target for a new job opening. She had an opening for a product manager. We were meeting so I could gather all the details to be able to recruit for that job opening. And she said, I want to hire 10 people before I make a decision. And I was thinking in my head, what the hell? If the perfect person came along, why would you need to interview anyone else? If this was the case with any hiring leader that I worked with, if they had this sort of mindset, having to interview a certain number of people before being able to make a decision, I would challenge them politely to think differently. With any requisition I'm recruiting for, I'm the expert, so I can weed out the ones who don't fit the bill. And I'm able to do this because I have a very in-depth kickoff call with the hiring manager. In this meeting, I'm asking very specific questions to understand and uncover exactly what they need and are looking for in the person they want to hire. Most times, the hiring manager has never been asked these questions in the past. Once I go through all my detailed questions, confirming and clarifying exactly what they're looking for, what I do later is I summarize it back to them in an email to make sure we're both on the same page to set expectations. Once I receive confirmation that we are on the same page, I'm off to the races to find the perfect fit. Then I'm only sharing those people who meet those preset parameters that we agreed upon. And what this does is it saves everyone time in the process. I'm able to weed out the ones that aren't a fit and be hyper targeted so every person that I'm sharing with the hiring manager is going to get an interview because they match everything that person's looking for. Another common misperception is the person that you're hiring must have all the skills listed on the job description. You've probably heard the phrase, hire for attitude, train for skill. And I can't emphasize how true this is. Here's the deal. Skills can be taught, but values, attitudes, and cultural alignment are far harder, if not impossible, to train. Imagine you hire someone with every qualification checked off on paper, but their work style clashes with your team's collaborative nature. Or maybe they're used to a rigid hierarchical environment while your company thrives on autonomy and quick decision-making. No amount of training can bridge that fundamental mismatch. On the flip side, when someone naturally fits into your company culture, sharing your values, communication style, and approach to problem solving, they tend to be more engaged, adaptable, and committed. Here's why cultural fit should be a top priority when hiring. First, you'll have better team cohesion. A culturally aligned team communicates more smoothly, collaborates more effectively, and experiences fewer interpersonal conflicts. People want to work with colleagues who share similar work ethics and approaches. Second, you'll have higher employee retention rates. Hiring someone who thrives in your company culture reduces turnover. Employees stay longer when they feel they belong and their values align with the organization's. That alone saves you time, money, and resources down the line. Third, you'll have faster ramp-up times. Even if someone doesn't have every technical skill, if they mesh well with the team and they're eager to learn, they'll often outperform a more qualified candidate who struggles to integrate. A cohesive culture fosters a positive work environment. And when people get along, they're happier, and happier employees are more productive and creative. Now, I get it. Technical skills do matter. Hard skills do matter. I'm not saying you should hire someone wildly underqualified just because they vibe well at happy hour. What I'm saying is that if your team has the capacity to train, take advantage of that. It's far easier to teach someone how to use a software program or follow a process than it is to teach them to be adaptable, communicative, or align with your company's values. For hiring managers, don't fall into the trap of hiring for resume checkboxes alone. Ask behavioral questions during interviews that explore how candidates handle conflict, how they prefer to work with others, and what kind of environments bring out the best in them. A person's past performance on how they did something is a key indicator of how they're going to handle something again in the future. This is why behavioral interview questions are crucial to use, and use them in every interview you have. Another tip for all of you who are doing interviewing is you must be comfortable interrupting the candidate during the interview and ask them detailed, probing questions to get the information you need. And I know most of you don't conduct interviews every day, so this might feel awkward, but it doesn't need to feel that way though. Just tee it up in advance. At the beginning of the interview, communicate to the person that you might be interrupting them at times to make sure that you're getting the information that you need. Simple as that. For job seekers, focus on understanding what your own values are and what kind of culture you thrive in. It's not just about getting the job. It's about finding a place where you'll be happy and successful. Ask questions like, can you tell me about the team dynamic here? Or how does the company support professional growth? Or what sold you on coming to work here? These questions will uncover key things that will help you make your decision. Remember, candidates, you are interviewing the company as much as they are interviewing you. I've seen it time and time again. The best long-term hires are those who might not check every skills box, but come eager, aligned with the company culture, and ready to grow. And when companies invest in training and development, they don't just build stronger teams, they build loyalty and cultivate future leaders. Culture eats strategy for breakfast, and skills can be taught. Prioritize the right fit. Invest in development, and you'll build a stronger, more resilient team. Let's talk about another misconception that often gets overlooked in the hiring process. Why industry specialization isn't as important as you might think. So many hiring managers say, we really need someone with industry experience. I get it. There's comfort in hiring someone who speaks the language of your field. But here's the reality. Industries can be learned. When someone joins your company, no matter how experienced they are or not, they still need to learn how your business operates, how your team communicates, and how your processes flow. That onboarding process is inevitable. So why limit yourself to a narrow talent pool just because someone hasn't worked in your specific industry before? In fact, hiring from outside of your industry can be a huge advantage. Here's why. When you bring in someone from a different industry, they bring a fresh perspective. They aren't confined to the "we've always done it this way" mentality. They bring fresh ideas and challenge outdated processes and often spark innovation simply because they're looking at things through a different lens. Next, transferable skills are everywhere. Skills like leadership, problem solving, project management, and communication are universal. Someone who's led a sales team in the tech sector can lead a sales team in manufacturing because the core skills remain the same. Adaptability is key. If someone has successfully transitioned between roles or industries before, that's a huge green flag, and it shows they're adaptable, quick to learn, and able to thrive in new environments, which is way more valuable long-term than having years of experience in just one industry. Diverse experiences drive better solutions. Imagine you're trying to solve a tough problem. Would you rather have a room full of people with the same background and similar thinking, or a diverse group with different experiences and perspectives? Diversity of thought drives creativity and better decision making. And let's not forget, industry knowledge is often easier to pick up than you think. With proper onboarding, mentorship, and a bit of curiosity, new hires can quickly grasp the nuances of your industry while simultaneously bringing fresh energy and ideas that insiders might often overlook. For hiring managers, don't get stuck in the must-have industry experience trap. Instead, focus on the candidate's ability to learn, adapt, and bring value in new ways. For job seekers, if you're switching industries, emphasize your transferable skills and show how your fresh perspective can be an asset, not a liability. Bottom line here, industry knowledge can be taught, but curiosity, adaptability, and fresh thinking can't be manufactured. If you want to drive innovation and growth, look beyond your industry bubble. So, what are some of the top qualities hiring managers are looking for when they hire people? First up is problem-solving ability. All a company truly does is solve problems for their customers. This is universal at any company. Companies need people who can face challenges head-on and come up with solutions, not just point out what's wrong. When you approach interviews or your resume highlighting times when you navigated a tough situation and found a resolution, that is key. Next, being a team player is huge. No one wants to work with a person who refuses to collaborate. Hiring managers are looking for people who support their teammates, who celebrate wins together, and pitch in when needed. Good communication is another top priority. This doesn't just mean being well-spoken. It's about being a good listener, knowing how to share information clearly, and tailoring your communication style depending on your audience. One quality that's increasingly important is adaptability. The workplace is constantly evolving, and companies want people who are flexible, open to change, and willing to learn. Not those who dig in their heels when something new comes along. Another big one, accountability. Leaders want people who own their work, good or bad, rather than blaming others when things go wrong. If you can demonstrate that you take responsibility and learn from mistakes, you'll stand out. Hiring managers are also thinking about how candidates fit into the bigger picture. They value people who think beyond their individual role and consider how their work impacts the entire company. This shows leadership potential and business-oriented mindsets. And of course, there's cultural fit. Skills can be taught, but attitude and values are harder to change. Companies want to hire people whose values align with theirs, ensuring they'll work well with the existing team and thrive in the company's environment. So as you prepare for your job search, interviews, or even your next team meeting, think about how you can showcase these qualities. They could be the key to landing that next opportunity, even if you don't check every single box on the job description. So then what are they looking for on your resume? First off, hiring managers and recruiters are looking for an easy to read resume, one that makes it crystal clear where you've worked, how long you were at each company, what your titles were, your education level, any certifications that you have. Believe it or not, they also pay attention to things like volunteer work and awards. Why? Because these show character, dedication, and recognition beyond just day-to-day responsibilities. Here's where many candidates miss the mark. Hiring managers aren't just looking for a job description of what you've done. They want to see impact. And I'm not saying just any impact. I'm talking numerical results impact. Did you help the company increase revenue, cut costs, improve efficiency, lead a project that delivered outstanding results? If so, those are the things that you have to spell out on your resume with numbers. Metrics grab attention and give concrete evidence to the impact that you've made and the value that you bring. It's the proof. So what else do they want to see on a resume? They want proof that you've made a difference at your company. They aren't interested in fluffy, generic bullet points listing out job responsibilities. They want real results. They are looking for where you've brought innovation, an idea you pitched that was implemented and made a difference. Projects that you've led that were completed on time, under budget, and contributed to the company's success. How you developed employees who went on to earn promotions. Where you saved the company money or identified inefficiencies and improved processes. The times you went above and beyond, demonstrating initiative, tenacity, and flexibility. Upward career progression, not just job hopping every 2 years for a salary bump, but thoughtful career moves that show growth and strategic decision making. At the end of the day, hiring managers want to know, what have you done that made a real impact? If your resume tells that story backed up by numbers and achievements, you're going to stand out from the crowd. Now, let's fast forward to the interview stage. While you're answering questions, the person sitting across from you is constantly filtering your responses through two main lenses. The first lens, are they a cultural fit? This isn't just about being likable. It's about whether you align with the company's values, work styles, and team dynamic. They're thinking, can I see this person working well on our team? Will they adapt to our environment? The second lens they're filtering through is, can this person replicate past achievements at our company? In other words, the interviewer is asking, you've accomplished XYZ in your previous role. Can you bring that here, those same skills, that same drive, and apply it to help us improve our company? This is why storytelling in interviews is so powerful. It helps the interviewer picture you making the same kind of impact at their company. The best way to structure your stories if you're a candidate? Use the STAR format, a proven method that keeps your answers clear, concise, and impactful. Here's how it works. S stands for situation. Set the scene. What was going on? Provide enough context for the interviewer to understand the background. T stands for task. What was the problem, challenge, or responsibility that you faced? A stands for action. Walk them through exactly what you did to address the situation and be very, very specific. Walk them through step by step. This is your chance to showcase your skills and decision making. R stands for result. Share the outcome. What was the impact? Use numbers and data when possible to show measurable results. When you use the STAR format, you avoid rambling. You stay focused on what matters and give the interview a crystal clear picture of how you can add value to their team. Plus, it helps you stand out by telling memorable stories rather than just listing off random tasks. So before you go into your next interview or update your resume, think about those two lenses. are you showing your cultural alignment? Are you highlighting measurable achievements? Because at the end of the day, that's what hiring teams are looking for. If you're on the job seeker side, you may be wondering how to prepare for these interviews using the STAR format in your responses. It's really, really easy. You can go to my resources in the show notes and find the most commonly asked interview questions and how to prepare for them. Then you'll want to sit down with a paper and pen or a computer notepad and start going through each question and answering them using the STAR format. What I'd like you to focus on are examples of projects or situations that are highest in scope and complexity. What you'll find is as you're answering these questions, the same examples and situations will pop up for more than one question. And that's an awesome sign because all you really need is 10 of your best examples. Select 10 examples and that will be enough to plug and play with any interview question that you're asked. But make sure you pick the ones that are highest in scope and complexity. And don't feel like you need to use a different example for every question. Pick your best example for the question that you are asked. What you'll find is you'll be sharing different components of the very same example for multiple questions. After you've written down all your responses or typed them out, pick the top 10 best ones and memorize them. You'll be able to knock out your next interview and you will get a job offer. When you're preparing for an interview, Google is your best friend. Start with the company's website. Dig into every single tab. Pay attention to what they highlight online. See what they have on their webpage. Read through their company values word for word. Check for any recent news, press releases to understand where they're headed. This will give you insight into what matters most for them. Next, continue your research beyond their website. Look at customer reviews on Google to see how they're perceived externally. Read employee reviews on sites like Glassdoor. Just keep in mind that reviews on platforms like that tend to attract people who've had negative experiences, so take them for a grain of salt and look for reoccurring themes rather than one-off complaints from a disgruntled employee. But here's what most people overlook. The best way to get a real sense of the company's culture is by asking thoughtful questions during the interview. Not only will these questions help you assess if it's a good fit for you, but the interviewer is also evaluating you based on the questions you ask. That's right. Your questions say a lot about your priorities, your preparation, and how seriously you're considering the role. So how do you stand out with the questions that you ask? Ask questions that go beyond surface level curiosity. Here are some of my top recommendations, and I'm going to break them into different buckets to help you. So the first bucket is identifying culture and team fit. Good questions to ask are, why did you decide to work for this company? What keeps you here? What do you love most about working here? What's one thing you wish you could change about working here? The next bucket is performance expectations and success metrics. Some questions you might want to ask are, what are the expectations for this role in the first 30, 60, 90 days? How is success measured for this position? What challenges do you foresee someone having stepping into this role? What key priorities should I focus on in the first 6 months? The next bucket is evaluating leadership and management style. You could ask, how would you describe your leadership style? How does the team handle feedback? How does the company handle professional development? Can you share how decisions are made within the department or the company? The next bucket is career growth and development. Some great questions to ask are, what growth opportunities are available for someone in this role? How does the company support learning and development? Can you share an example of how someone in this role has progressed within the company? The next bucket is company vision and future. Some great questions are, where do you see the company headed in the next few years? How does this role contribute to the company's long-term goals? What exciting projects or initiatives is the team working on? And let's not forget one of my favorite all-time questions of all time, what keeps you up at night? This question gives you raw insight into the challenges the company is currently facing and what is on that leader's mind and how you can potentially solve them. Now, I know some of you are thinking, can I really ask these questions, Renee? Yes, and you absolutely should. This isn't just about landing a job. It's about making sure the job is the right fit for you, the right job for you. Fun fact, changing jobs is the second most emotional decision you'll make in your life, right next to after deciding to get married. That's how important this is. You spend most of your waking hours at work. Why wouldn't you vet it out like you would any major life decision? So here's my advice. Get out of your head, push past the fear, and ask the damn questions. Your career is worth it, and your future self will be grateful if you did. At the end of the interview, whether it's virtual or in person, be sure to ask for the interview's contact information. Sometimes people don't have business cards anymore. You got to be able to follow up. Then connect with them on LinkedIn too. They are now a part of your network, whether you get the job or not. Let's talk about something simple yet incredibly important that so many people overlook. Following up after an interview. It shows enthusiasm, professionalism, and most importantly, it keeps you top of mind for the hiring team. And trust me, when decisions are close, that follow-up can be the difference between getting the offer or getting passed over. Let me paint a little picture for you here. Imagine there are two top candidates, Jane and John. Both nailed the interview. Both have the right skills for the team. The team loves them both. It's neck and neck. But after the interview, John sends a thoughtful thank you email and Jane doesn't. Guess who's getting the job? John is. It might seem silly, but sending a thank you email is a must. It shows you care about the opportunity, you're polite, and you value the interviewer's time. And let's be honest, it's a pretty easy way to stand out. A good rule of thumb is to send your thank you email within 24 hours of your interview. That way, you're still fresh in their mind and reinforcing that positive impression. And if you had a panel interview with multiple people interviewing you, don't take the lazy way out by sending one generic email to everyone. Take the time to send each person a personalized email. It shows you paid attention and you value each person's perspective. A thank you email is a must. It reinforces your interest in the role and leaves a lasting impression. And if you're sitting there thinking, okay, I know I need to send a thank you email, but what do I even say? I got you. I created done for you post-interview thank you template that takes out all the guesswork. It's professional, customizable, and will help you stand out from the competition. You can grab your copy by heading over to my coaching website. Just check the show notes for the link. It's an easy win that can make a big difference in your job search. So whether you're a hiring manager looking to build a strong team or a job seeker navigating the process, hiring is about so much more than just checking boxes. It's about finding the right fit, someone who aligns with the culture, brings value beyond the resume, and has the potential to grow within an organization. So be intentional in this process. Trust yourself and go after what truly aligns with your goals. So the key points from today's episode are hiring the right person is about cultural fit and growth potential beyond skills. Adaptability and fresh perspective matter more than industry experience. Job seekers stand out by showcasing achievements and following up. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Share this episode with someone you love and go make one change to be better than you were yesterday. Live your life with intention. I believe in you. I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible. So if you would, please hit the follow button so we can grow our community of conscious professionals. Whether you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can find the button at the top of the page. See you next week, everyone. Cheers.